if somebody wanted to go all in, like all in, I'm talking about 24/7, very few people want to do that. And there's other things that are important in life. Like it's not just all business, but I believe that you could become a millionaire in 5 years. I really believe that. And that could change your life. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is. Welcome to the Real Estate Podcast. Alex Coffin, Matt Teifke here. Monday morning, we're excited. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today, we wanted to talk about the process and the career path of getting your real estate license and starting your career as a real estate agent. Alex, you actually recently got your license. Mm-hmm. I'd love to hear how you think about this, because I was a big believer in, and I still am, in if you love real estate and you want to get involved, just get your license and go all in. That obviously doesn't have to be the path for everybody. Some people can just be straight up investors. They don't have to get their license. How do you view that?
Yeah, I mean, up until buying into the brokerage, I had no plan of getting my real estate license. But seeing as this was kind of a required step to take, I had to get it. But, I planned on until this happened, I planned on just buying properties and making money through wholesaling and not getting a real estate license. Not for any reason other than just the goal was not to be a traditional real estate agent, to go out and list properties and such. However, since I got it, opportunities have opened the door, and I don't have to say, hey, Matt, I got a referral for you. Mm-hmm. I could take those on if I wanted to. Nice.
Yeah, so it gives you the flexibility and the options. You're a unique case because you just got your license because you essentially had to. But I definitely see both sides. Like you don't have to be an agent. You can just be like, if you weren't partner at the broker, but at the brokerage, but you still wanted to invest and own properties, like you could just keep doing what you're doing. And then I look at the side of getting your license just forces you to get into the game, and it forces you to go, once you get your license, you've got to go show some properties to somebody just to feel good about getting your license, which you'll probably do. And so what I want to talk about today is for new real estate agents. Even though you haven't had your license for long, you still know a lot about it and things that you can do to build your business, as you've been running our trainings, talking to all our agents, seeing what works for them, giving them advice, seeing what works after that advice. And so just to jump in, let's start with you on this, and then I'll jump in. Is someone just got their license, they just passed their test, don't know anything about real estate, what do you do?
I would say if you don't know anything about real estate and you don't have any previous connections.
Mind you, they took the test, and the test doesn't really teach you much about real estate. So that's why they still don't know about real estate. You know what I'm saying?
I got you. It teaches you a little bit, but there's you're completely missing that experience factor.
Right.
Because, taking the real estate test, they do teach you a lot of stuff. It's just, for me at least, it's had I not had, years of experience in real estate, it's hard to imagine how these things come into play without that practical experience.
That's good. And it was probably actually really good to have the experience and then start learning about it, because that's what it was like for me at the master's school for real estate, because just having the hands-on understanding of how these things work and then going and reading about it is so much better than reading about it first.
Yeah, for sure. And a lot of it was just kind of rules and laws and regulations,
ethics.
And the ethics are easy, and it's actually pretty cool because I enjoyed taking the classes and just learning more. But having no practical real estate experience, But just your knowledge from taking the test, and if you don't have any connections already, I don't know how you found the real estate path. Maybe it's something you're just interested in. My number one advice would be piece of advice would be to find someone to kind of guide and mentor you, whatever that looks like.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think part of the reason why you probably enjoyed it is because exactly what I said, because you understood it a little bit versus just reading about it and not really understanding what's going on. But I agree, man. I took that exact same path, and it's kind of crazy, man. When you talk to people that are in real estate, it seems like 70-80% of those people are involved because someone they know, just like you said, like a relative, their immediate family, somebody is in real estate and telling them to get in, or they have a connection with their family, may own properties or whatever it will be. I'm definitely in that category. My mom got started, and that's what got me interested. And like when I was selling commercial real estate, it was like almost every commercial broker, their family was in real estate. And so that's, I guess in some ways that's a trend that I'm trying to break in some ways. We are as well. Like we're trying to get that out to people to be like, hey, this is for you. This is for everyone. You don't have to just get in it because your family was. They're getting in it because their family was, but also because the power and the benefits of real estate. And you can get there immediately by just getting your real estate license.
Yeah, I don't think that's across the board the case in terms of like the family lineage of real estate agents and brokers.
It's definitely in commercial. I know that for sure. But I mean, yeah, it's not like 100%, but a lot. Like if you talk to a lot of people, they're like, yeah, my dad, a lot of real estate agents, like my dad was a broker or my mom's an agent. I mean, I know so many people that both parents are agents and their grandparents were agents. Like it's crazy. But I think that to me, it's just because of the knowledge. Like once your mind is open to what's out there and what real estate can do, it's hard to not like it.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. And that's why it was interesting for me, not only because of the experience, but going through the classes and getting the tests. It was just fun learning some more stuff to be better equipped, when I'm going out and doing stuff. But yeah, new real estate agent, find a mentor, whether, you have family or someone referred you into this industry or not. That would be my number one advice is to just dive in and completely get immersed in it, Yeah. Things have, for me, changed since I did go 100% full-time real estate and really nothing else. For the last few years, I was putting in 40 hours a week in real estate. However, I was doing a whole bunch of other things too. But since May, when I went completely 100% focused on real estate, so many other doors opened up that they didn't before. And I don't know if it's, I don't know what the thing is there, but I mean, we closed 2 pretty big deals. We got some more deals under contract, and it seemed like things just started to align even more when I was 100% focused on real estate.
Yeah, and we'll get back to the real estate tip, but just on our stuff is like you kind of step back as well when you went full time. Because whenever you weren't full time, you're basically just doing work for ourselves, making all the offers for ourselves. Now we're trying to help build our team, and that's a transition that's kind of hard, right? Because we're not doing the money-making activity every second, every day. We're doing the long-term team building, building a company, and so that's challenging, right? Because now you're going full-time, and even for me too, I'm stepping back. Like I'm not as focused on making as much as I can. I'm trying to build the team for the long run. Sure.
And I mean, I didn't really view it in a negative way. I enjoy doing that, building stuff, and also it's like, we got our, couple fishing poles out in the water, like the lines in the water, or we take that step back and create 1,000 lines in the water.
Right. I totally agree, and I'm on board. That's why we're doing it, and I don't think of it negative. It's just it's challenging, right? Because now our bank account isn't as big, and it's not like we're seeing it grow as big as quickly, right? But the whole point is maybe it'll be 100 times larger in the long run.
And it will be.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point. I know it will be. It's just, when you're starting from scratch, you're putting all that effort in, and you're not immediately, seeing the results.
Yeah. Well, for agents that I agree with you 100%. Mentor. My thing is find a mentor, but ideally find multiple mentors. And I just found one. But I was also you're always learning from other people. But this mentor for me would sit down literally for an hour every single day, and we would read through the contract line by line, every single line. I would take notes, and that was really, really valuable. And it wasn't even my broker, so it doesn't have to be your broker. It could be an investor. It could be, another agent, but it could be all of them. You could have 20 minutes from an investor, 20 minutes from your broker, 10 minutes, 20 minutes from us. Like, you can talk to anyone, and you just have to be cognizant that you're helping them out. We always talk about that. I would go do a lot of the grunt work for this guy, and that's what made it valuable for him.
Yeah, and I think it is valuable to find multiple, because I've heard you talk about, you wanted to learn everything about real estate, right? Like appraisal, residential, commercial, leasing, to kind of figure out where you wanted to go, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I've had the same experience outside of real estate, like oil and gas, computers, e-commerce, real estate, and I love real estate. But I wanted to try different things, and there was, I think, a lot of other people viewed, jumping around from job to job as a bad thing, not staying in one place long. Right. But to me, it was like just learning different things and figuring out where I wanted to go.
Absolutely.
And so I think you can view it the same way with real estate, right? Like, maybe find a commercial mentor, maybe find a, luxury residential mentor, a leasing mentor, and try these different things and learn which path you want to take, because the opportunities are endless. Maybe you like just working with investors. Maybe you only like, luxury, high-end, $1 million homes in West Austin or whatever. Mm-hmm.
I totally agree. I think it's a good point. You do, if you're going to get your license, you got to, find some mentors, find some people that you can trust, but then look at all aspects, because it's probably super rare that you're going to pick residential sales, non-luxury, and that's just the only thing that you love about real estate. Mm-hmm. So you might as well keep your mind open to what is apartment leasing, what is appraisal, what is lending, what is a title company, what is all this stuff, how does all this work, what are the components, what area do I gravitate towards, straight investing, multifamily, office, retail, industrial, ranch, yeah, thanks for saying that one. It goes all over the board. So I agree, find a mentor, learn as much as you can about as many aspects as possible, and just engulf yourself in the process and try to learn. There's podcasts, there's stuff on the internet, it's everywhere. And you can go make action steps on every aspect every day if you want to.
That's what I would do. If I wasn't in the position that I'm in with Tree, that's exactly what I would go do as a new agent. I'd do some stuff with you. I'd probably go try and learn some stuff over here. I'd go try and learn some stuff over there, and just figure out, where I wanted to go.
Yeah, and I still do that to this day. Every day I talk to somebody that's doing something different. I meet with commercial brokers, and I just want to know, what's the market like? What are you seeing? You find out these crazy insights, like this one that I've got with the swimming pool situation right now. Mm-hmm. We had a client, we bid $25K over on Saturday, asking price. Mm-hmm. We got it, and it came with a pool. And it was like, I've never seen, a pool. It's a combination of summer and Corona, and it's a unique insight that's super valuable. So the point of that is, the more you learn about different aspects of the business, you can kind of put it all together. Like, as a real estate agent, another thing which is critical of this is getting market knowledge. And that's what I tell our team. When you're having the first call with somebody, you want to explain from macro to micro, this is why this is a good market. And you start explaining, Tesla's bringing in 5,000 jobs, Apple's doing the $1 billion campus, Kalahari, 1,000-unit hotel, 500,000 square foot indoor water park. You start showing that you're an expert and that you care, and there's real value, because now people can go buy around those locations and get equity, and get appreciation. So mentor, learning, learning as much about as many aspects as you can. And then what's important is picking your broker. So essentially most brokers want to bring on any agent, right? Like everyone's a little different. You have to be able to speak well and present yourself well and show you're a hard worker, but you're going to go into an interview with a broker if you're just getting started, and they're going to be like, yeah, we love you. It's different than most job interviews where you're hoping you get the job. This is like you should be interviewing the broker in a lot of ways. It works both ways. But my thing is find someone that you like what they're doing, because that's probably your first step on your mentor, and you can follow what they're going to teach you and show you. And then once you pick that person, if they don't work out, like, move on, cut ties. And it doesn't take more than probably 3 to 6 months to feel like this is the right person in some ways. And maybe it's not later on, but what's the saying? It's hire slow, fire quick, kind of like that, but switch to a real estate agent with their broker. Hire your broker. You're essentially hiring your broker in some ways. And, my first broker was a great guy, and I got that mentor within that brokerage, but he wasn't the mentor. So it doesn't have to be that the broker is the mentor. Maybe they have a team set up, but you just have to find out where you really feel good. And this is a business that people get into for a lifestyle. So you don't want to get in there and hate your job and hate what you're doing. You got to really love it. And I think you can figure that out quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think that's very important as well. And I'm sure it's hard
It is.
I'm sure it's hard to just pass your exam, get your license, and then now it's like, go get sponsored by a broker. And I mean, so I put all my information in there on track just to see what everybody else was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I get flooded with emails, with texts, with phone calls from these different brokers, and they always tell you different things. And I'm sure it's hard to, weed through all that to find the right one.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people, have the person they want to go with picked out beforehand. Like, I want to be at TRE.
Teifke Real Estate.
And we welcome that all day. And we'd love to help people, as they're going through their tests. Because you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to get your license to get started. You can get started and you could get your license 5 years later. You can do all of these things that we're talking about without getting your license, and find a mentor, try different aspects, pick stuff quickly, get rid of it quickly, or pick it slowly, get rid of it quickly. You can do all that without having your license. And the license is just an added value. And what I love about it is you can make good money with it. And you're also already doing what you like. You're showing properties, you're seeing properties, you're selling, you're helping people buy, you're helping investors. And it just keeps you plugged in the game. Like, I wouldn't have known this little pool insight that I think is so valuable if I wasn't showing pool properties.
Mm-hmm.
I just wouldn't know. And so now, I actually don't have any properties with the pool, but if I did, I would probably list it. I told my mom she should probably list her house. If it's going to sell, $100K over ask, like, let's just go buy something without a pool and put in a pool later when the madness dies.
Right.
So that's the value.
What'd she say?
No way.
She was trying to sell me her house like a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Maybe that was pre-pool.
Maybe. Yeah. So some people want to capitalize on the value of real estate. Some people look at it differently. Like the Fernando and Brittany that I'm helping them buy a house right now. They don't really care too much about getting equity on the buy. This is just, he's a little bit older. This is the house that he wants to live in and just be good at and have good parties and people come over. So that works for him. And, in that sense, and there's also, I look at it all different ways. It's like, yeah, maybe he's paying $10,000 below or $10,000 above what it's appraised at. But year one, it's going to go up $10,000 in value. And so, that's a way to justify it in some ways, because maybe he wouldn't find this, maybe he couldn't wait a whole year to find this perfect, like, he loves it. And so for some people that can make sense.
Yeah, real estate investing has ruined a home buying experience for me for the rest of my life.
Wait till your future wife says, "This is the house I want."
Oh,
That's what happened to me, because this is the first house that I ever bought that wasn't below value and that was priced kind of high. It's still not that high. It was like $370.
We've had those conversations, and it never ends well because I'm like, no, we're not doing that. It doesn't make sense to me, or we should go do this instead. And
Yeah.
she wants to hear nothing about it.
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing is, if you are willing to make the sacrifice on certain aspects, there is a lot of money to be gained. That's what I did. Andrew did that in a lot of ways, and he's got a couple properties, and it really adds up over time. And it's kind of hard, but very few people want to do it. And from what I've seen, I could be wrong, but very few people want to go move into a house that they don't love and it be something they like, but more for the money and the equity, and knowing that, we're probably going to be moving out in 2 years or in 1 year, and this is super temporary. Most people, what I think, is they just want what they want, and they're not thinking about the financial aspect as much.
It's because it's not an investment.
Single family? Oh gosh.
It's because it's not an investment, right? It's just something you want. It's like a car.
Yeah.
You just want something nice. You want to live there. You want to raise your family there.
Oh, for most people.
You're not looking at it from an investment mindset.
Sure. Yeah. Well, and the reason I said that is because I know Grant Cardone is single family is not an investment, and that's not true. It absolutely is and can be. It depends on how you go about it. If you're buying equity and you're buying $60K below value and you just made $60,000. Grant can't really say that that's not an investment.
It's not just Grant Cardone, man. It's
well, a lot of people, but I mean, I'm living proof that that's not true. I've been able to build a balance sheet of assets of real estate that now I can go get big loans and buy commercial properties. And if I didn't do that, I would maybe have some money sitting in the stock market.
It's not the viewpoint, again, we don't have to keep diving into this, but the viewpoint, again, is not necessarily about single family rentals. It's about, this, for example. How much money does this bring you on a monthly basis?
Correct. This is not.
That's the only viewpoint.
But yeah, that's why I don't advocate that. I advocate for house hacking, buying a duplex, buying with equity, live in, flip. Well, all the things that Grant seems to act like doesn't exist.
And this is what you are doing, right?
Now this is an investment technically in some ways, because I have an RV out back that we're leasing.
So it's just, it's a blanket statement, okay? on both ends. It's not on both sides of the argument. It's just a blanket statement. And
It's not. Grant makes the blanket statement. I have nuanced topics to say this is how it is an investment, very specifically.
Okay, but you can't apply that to every single person that buys a home.
No, absolutely not.
And it's also a lot of times, we're in Austin, Texas, right? Would it be the same in Killeen, where the house does not appreciate like it does in Austin, Texas?
Right.
So
I agree, but you can apply it. If you have the mindset that you want to make an investment, you can. You have to sacrifice on certain things. If you're gonna go out and I can make an investment for anyone that wants to buy a single family home. If they want a house hack, if they want, you tell me that someone wants to go buy a 3-2 in Leander and rent out 2 of the rooms for $700.
Let's go back to the viewpoint is on, is it a liability or is it an asset? And so an asset is going to bring you income on a monthly basis, and a liability is going to cost you money on a monthly basis.
Sure.
Or an annual basis. And
right.
That's just
that's the whole point of renting the rooms.
Okay, and so at that point it would be an asset, right?
Yeah.
The other way, it would be a liability and therefore not an asset.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is who decides that you're going to rent the rooms out? The investor. So if you want to go into a deal and make it that way, and you want to go and say, I'm going to buy something that I'm going to put in $60,000 worth of work, or I'm going to buy a fourplex and live in this 1-bedroom upstairs that I don't really love, well, it is an investment.
That's not what they're talking about, though. They're talking about this situation, no RV, just buying a home.
Yeah, of course. But they're making a blanket statement that a single-family home is not an investment.
if it costs you money on a monthly basis and it's not bringing in income, therefore it's not.
I agree. But you understand the problem is the blanket statement. Not every single family home costs you money.
Okay, but when they're talking about a blanket statement, they're talking about the liability and not the income producing asset.
Right. They're
So
not,
that's
they're not
the
explaining
blanket.
to people that, hey, they're saying don't buy a single family home.
Well, it is.
It's not an investment. They're not saying, but you could buy a single family home and make it an investment if you did this, and this. That's what I'm doing. They're just saying none of this exists. Let's not even talk about it. Single family home sucks. Invest in my fund. Let's buy multifamily.
It is explained, and you're making a blanket statement about everything that they say, which is not fair to them.
Maybe you're right.
But, like Robert Kiyosaki, for example, in Rich Dad Poor Dad, explains it as, does it cost you money or does it bring you in money?
Yeah.
Liability versus asset.
Yeah.
If you're buying a home and it costs you money on a monthly basis, annual basis, it's a liability,
Sure.
Therefore not an asset.
That's the obvious. That's the same thing if you do it with a multifamily. If you buy a multifamily and it costs you money, you don't bring any money, it's a bad investment. Any kind of investment. That's to me super obvious.
Okay. Well, there you go. That's all they're saying is that it's hard to, and what they're getting at is like I bought my home and it, like you just said, I bought my home and it appreciated $10,000 this year. This is such a good investment.
I get that.
That's what they're getting at.
I understand what they're getting at. I do. But they make the blanket statement. I'm not making the blanket statement.
Well,
maybe they don't. Maybe I'm missing it. I've heard the statement, and maybe they go more into it on other shows and stuff. But I'm just passionate about it because I've done it. Andrew's done it. I help people do it all the time. And, to say that it's not an investment is just totally missing it. And maybe they say, they probably would say ours are our investments, but they're not saying that on their, on their video that they're making to try and convince people to invest in their multifamily deal.
Well, there's multiple videos that are created, and maybe you just hear like one little snippet.
Yeah.
So let's just end this debate.
I love it. People probably like this.
Just agree that an asset brings you money,
right?
And a liability costs you
100%.
money.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Yeah. I agree.
So new agents.
Yeah.
Bring this conversation into your first closing.
Yeah, it's good for people to hear this, but I think to keep it simple is find a mentor.
Learn.
We've got stuff we're putting out all the time. There's stuff all over the internet. As many aspects as you possibly can. Jump in. Don't treat it like it's a side job or a side hustle. You've got to go all out. I'm a believer that you can put in, 80% of the work and you'll get like 50% of the results. But if you put 100% in, you'll get 150%, if that kind of makes sense. Just like the compound effect really multiplies. Like putting in 50 versus 100, I don't think you're doing double. I think you're doing almost like triple. If you follow me there. Mm-hmm. So go all in. Network, that's the big one for me, is find other people that are doing similar things that you can add value for. And that kind of goes along with the mentor, because as you network, you're looking for mentors. You're looking for people that you can mentor.
What advice would you give to people who just don't like going and doing that? And I know what you're going to say, but...
What am I going to say?
You're going to say, well, you got to learn to love it, or, make it a game, or convince yourself you have to do it. It's necessary, right? But a lot of people aren't like you with, you're just naturally good at it too, right?
I don't know. Maybe, I just push through, right? What advice do you give people that don't want to cold call?
Just do it.
Exactly. So it's like, I didn't want to cold call. I don't necessarily want to do coffee. I don't want to, I don't want to make whatever. That's what it takes. Do you think that people want to go to the gym that do certain things? Most of the time they don't, but it's what it is. And my only advice is, I'm not trying to be like that hardcore. It's just, it is what it is. Like, that's what I do. And every time you do it, it gets easier. Well, cold calling is so easy for me now. I was deathly scared of it, but like I could care less. And it literally is only, I really believe that it's, I guess I get so passionate because it's just, you're coming up with an excuse. I can't do this, or I don't like networking. It's like, well, just go try it and like push through it. And if you really, really, really still hate it, then okay. But I just don't believe that that's always the case.
Well, what I was getting at was, for someone who's been doing it every day for 10 years, what advice would you give people on just starting out? Who do you contact? Where do you go?
Contact us.
How long are your meetings?
If you're watching this, okay, yeah. Contact us. Contact me. That's a great start. You know, if someone's watching this, meetings are usually 30 minutes to an hour. I always buy somebody the coffee or the lunch, and when people are gonna come out and meet you, they're gonna be friendly. Like I've had like 1 or 2 bad meetings, and they weren't even bad. They're just like kind of boring.
What do you do when they say, no, I'm gonna buy our lunch? Do you say, no, I'm buying it, or do you let them buy it?
Yeah, I say, hey, I'm taking your time. Like, it's on me. So yeah, and then once you start reaching out, all you got to do is, you know, to me, it doesn't matter. You don't have to be too selective. Like, oh, I can't meet with all these other people. Just meet with everybody, and you'll slowly start to figure out where you want to gravitate. Like, hey, you meet with this person, they see what you're show them what you're passionate about, ask how you can help them, and they'll say, hey, I need to introduce you to this guy. And then all of a sudden you start going down this path where other people are introducing you to people that's consistently building and following up to something. And then all of a sudden you're meeting, you know, whoever, and the top person in that aspect, if you keep following it. So I just say, you know, get to know people, and the follow-up is key. Never have the meeting and don't stay in touch with someone. Then you're really missing the point. And try to find out how you can really help them. Like,
do you stay in contact with every single person you've met with over the last 10 years?
I mean, not every single one, but I try to as good as I can. I definitely, like, I'll go through my phone book like once every 2 weeks and send our new video to literally. There's definitely a more efficient way to do this. I know that, but I'll just literally send it to everyone. Here's our latest video. Here's our latest video. To like 400 people, however many people are on my phone, and I'll do the same thing on email. I'll go to my email and I'll type in A. All the A's will pop up. I'll send it to them. B, C, D. So, you know, this has been happening for a long time, and it sticks in people's mind. You know, I talked to my buddy Jeff the other day, and this is credit to all of us. Is like, dude, he's like, you guys are so consistent. I've never seen anybody put out as much and as often and for as long a period of time. He's like, I freaking respect that. And, you know, I didn't even know he was on Facebook or whatever. I don't think of Jeff as being on social media, but somehow he's seeing that and notices that. And that's for us, but for a real estate agent or an investor, entrepreneur, people aren't going to take you seriously until they really start seeing you put in the value and over a long period of time. And then they're like, wow, like, this guy's serious about this.
Follow-up is key.
Yeah.
Mentor, learn, network. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Just go out there and do it.
Yep. And really commit to it. Like, take this super seriously. I've said this before, but I think it's the best. I think if somebody wanted to go all in, like all in, I'm talking about 24/7, you know, very few people want to do that. And there's other things that are important in life. Like, it's not just all business, but I believe that you could become a millionaire in 5 years. I really believe that. And that could change your life, you know, but you don't have to go that path. That's just to show you what's possible. Like, you can, you know, definitely have balance, but real estate has, I mean, you can go wholesale a deal or flip a deal or add value on multifamily and make $200,000-$300,000. I mean, that's just amazing to me. So I just, you know, all these things, and then to understand that when you do put in the work, I really find it hard to believe that you could put in the work and not be successful in this business. I've just seen every aspect where I've seen people that have moved here from other states that know nobody, that hold open houses on Saturday and Sunday and make $150,000, $200,000 a year in commissions.
Diego, not him.
Well,
for
Diego's another great
Right.
example. Doreen,
Yeah.
my mom, like, you know, they're everywhere. You, right? Me,
Yeah.
Andrew, like, it all, you know, you're putting in the work. It just, there's really, I mean, yeah, maybe you'll fail a little bit here and there, but with really going at it and doing all these things we're talking about and finding the right people, it's hard to fail. I mean, people get so scared of real estate because of the things that can go wrong. Things can go wrong, but you inspect them, right? You inspect the foundation, the roof, the plumbing, the big ticket items. And then you just kind of know your numbers. Your payment's most of the time going to be fixed unless it's an adjustable rate. You essentially kind of know where your rent's going to be. And it is kind of hard to go wrong in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, and even as an agent, you know, seeing stories like Diego or just watching Doreen, and Doreen doesn't talk about it, you know. I don't know if Diego talks about it much or if Doreen talks about it much other than now, like, sharing their stories. But there's probably not a whole lot of time to talk about it when you're out there just hustling and getting it done.
True.
You know, and so seeing stories like that just reemphasize the fact that there are no excuses.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, those two people alone. Dude was not a citizen and was riding his bike and now has, 20 properties or something like that. He's on the news all the time. Doreen, full-time nurse. She owns multiple properties. She's selling real estate. She's wholesaling. So she's black, female, you know, could complain and say that, like, there's the whole world's against her, but she doesn't even stop to think about it. She just gets out there and works.
Yeah, it's amazing. So I think that is one of the most important things is the hard work and
consistency, because it is hard. Like, it's hard when you're putting in all this work, and that's the other thing, is it takes a long time. So it's hard for people to stay positive when something hasn't happened in 3 to 6 months, when they're used to getting paid every 2 weeks. That's probably the biggest challenge. Because when you don't see it, you basically you don't even know if it's possible.
Right. Or am I ever going to get there? Or
yeah. But on that topic, you know, we have this built in. We're big believers in leasing, and you can go drum up leasing leads right away. Like, we could go drum up, 50 leasing leads this week if we wanted to. So that's the key also for new agents to make money, is start with leasing. Don't think that you're better than anything and you want to sell $1 million properties and that you're not going to do leasing, because that will help you make $4,000 or $5,000, $400, $500, $1,000 in a week, in 2 weeks, to build your business, to then, you know, have those sales start coming in, to have your investments start coming in. We have a great leasing program at our company, and we need more people. We have ability to keep them busy and help them make money. And so you start slow, you build up, and you always have in the back of your mind, I want to own real estate. Never just sell and just make the commissions. You're missing the big picture. That's my advice.
There you go.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, thank you for tuning in. Please comment below, like our channel, subscribe. We're here to help. We're here to add value. We love doing this, and we want you guys to be as successful as possible.
Click the link below if you want to learn more about what we do here at Teifke Real Estate in Tree. And we're happy to help any new agents out, or if you know any new agents looking for a mentor or a brokerage, please reach out, click the link below, and let us know.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good day.